I think that was
They knew it.
demonstrated. Look, you can't ask us to tell you exactly how it happened, because what we were able to prove is that by the objective scientific evidence, something was terribly wrong here. Now, so that's point number one. It really didn't take that many people, and we demonstrated that at every turn, people were covering up, turning the other way, and not investigating things at all. Number two, and this is really a problem that I really think you ought to come to terms with, because you're sitting here pressing us saying, well, do you believe he's innocent? We've told you we do.
Right.
But
and
the problem here in America is, I say to you, Charlie Rose, if you were sitting on that jury after hearing all this evidence, if you were fair-minded about it, you may even walk away saying, I still have suspicions, but you would have to vote not guilty. And that's not a bad thing. It's a test of citizenship. It is a test of citizenship. And right now we're embattled with arguments in this country that is tearing us apart in terms of racism and all other kinds of issues about our criminal justice system and whether it works and it doesn't work and whether these stats are reasonable, because people don't accept that. At the very least, you have to accept that this jury had a lot of very, very good reasons to say, we can't abide it. We cannot abide it. You can't come in here and lie to us like this.
But nothing I have asked you nothing that I have asked you suggests otherwise, that you don't accept that fact. I mean, it seems to me, the preface of what my interest and curiosity is, we haven't heard from two people who were very much involved in this. And we have watched Johnny Cochran and Shapiro, and I assume Bailey somewhere that I haven't seen. But here you two guys coming from New York, going out there, being involved, having the richness of the experience that you have in terms of evidentiary issues. To ask you, tell me what you knew, because you've had contact, is not to make a statement about the guilt of innocence of O.J. Simpson, but to ask questions that are on people's minds.
Charlie,
so you shouldn't, in a sense,
Charlie, just to
look at me and say, how dare you ask that question?
No. Well,
Charlie,
he's dancing around. He's dancing around. Backtracking.
I will say to you, I think that if you look at this tape again later, okay? And you started off by saying, do you believe he's innocent?
Right.
And we said yes.
Right.
Okay? And then we told you, well, there's certain limits as to how much we can talk about it, because it's privileged, and this man enjoys that privilege. And then we went on to
You
talk
can't play with these lawyers. They're listening to everything you're talking about.
A basis for its verdict, and all the tampering with the evidence.
But
yet you're deep down, what you really want to say is, prove him innocent to me. Come back in here.
Yeah.
The 2 or 3 people that can move this.
No, wait, Peter, wait one second. No, Barry. Deep down, I want to really understand what you are saying. I want you to give me an opportunity to ask you. I ask you a simple question. Was it just Van Adder and Furman, or was it more?
Charlie.
I mean, that's not a glib question. That is a direct, precise question. Do you, who had such an impact on the trial, as Peter did, believe it was more than these 2 people? And do you believe they worked together? You haven't
He's
said
looking
that.
at
I'd
him
like to
like,
know.
this
That's not a
motherfucker.
value judgment on my part, right? You give me that?
Sure. What Barry was alluding to, all right, is aside from corruption of the evidence or contamination of the evidence, is this whole notion not of conspiracy, but of cover-up. The biggest problem you have with a law enforcement agency like the Los Angeles Police Department, and by the way, they're not unique in this regard. It happens here in New York City.
Lawyers, doctors, others do this too.
It's called, the blue wall.
But you cover up each other and protect
Exactly.
your butts.
It's that code of silence.
Institutional code of silence.
And the problem here is that there was a whole slew of people who all of a sudden had selective memories, closed their eyes at convenient times. Remember Mazzola? I closed my eyes at the one moment that the file was supposedly passed. Paratus, who clearly was not a person who planted evidence, but all of a sudden recants 12 months later and says, I was wrong when I said I drew 8 cc's of blood. I had the vial turned over upside down, so I couldn't see the numbers on it.
Wow.
One after another. Different police officers who participated in this, or different members of the Los Angeles Police Department Scientific Investigation Division, all of a sudden start covering up for other members of the department. And that is what makes it so easy for 1 or 2 bad apples to do their dirty work. And that's what happened.